In a move that would actually make sense on a federal level, a California tribe has gotten land back from the state of California. Now, yes, it cost them millions of dollars in the process, but getting this land back means that this land will now be managed better, which California and the federal, any number of agencies, have shown they can't do. The federal land management system in our nation is so idiotic that we have forest fires that start that destroy thousands of acres. And we're talking about a way to turn this land productive again. The name of the tribe is the Yurok Tribe. They're in California, and they got land that was taken from them during the gold rush. Well, now they're getting the land back, and they have plans for this land to utilize it in a proper manner. So, I've got a couple of clips talking about this, and you get to actually hear from spokespeople of the Yurok tribe and how they're going to work on this land. Then, when we come back, I'm going to go over the history a little bit here. Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
On the north coast in Del Norte County, roughly 73 square miles of homelands have been returned to the Yurok tribe. The deal is being called the largest in California history. 90% of the Yurok tribe's territory was taken during the gold rush. The tribe will now manage the land and waterways. The tribe plans to conduct its own controlled burns and clear the land for prairie restoration, with work being provided for some 5,000 members of the tribe.
This is an incredible opportunity for the tribe to really assert its self-determination, manage its own resources for the benefit of both fish and wildlife, to restore the tribe's land base, provide access for ceremonial and subsistence and gathering needs of the tribe. And it's just a huge accomplishment.
Western Rivers Conservancy bought and conveyed land to the tribe in phases. The $56 million for the conservation deal came from private capital, low interest loans, tax credits, public grants, and carbon credit sales that will continue to support restoration.
The Yurok had always relied on the salmon for both food and income. When the population declined, they faced disaster. And so Frankie's ancestors took the only option left to them, joining the logging business.
We had to change as a people to survive. It was heartbreaking because we were forced to be a part of it because there was no other options. It was change or die. And a lot of Yurok people did die.
This is just one part of a much bigger rewilding program the Yurok are managing right across their lands. They plan to remove obsolete hydroelectric dams on the Klamath River to allow salmon to travel far upstream and bring back other key animals, such as the condor, an apex scavenger which they consider sacred.
We do these projects because we believe that humans were placed here on Earth to keep the balance of the world around them. Just like salmon have a role to play in the ecosystem, and elk and deer and condor, humans also have a role to play in the ecosystem as well. Humans are a part of this world. We're supposed to be here. And wilderness, a true wilderness, only exists if humans also exist in it.
Okay, now you heard all that. The Yurok have been living along the Klamath River for 10,000 years with the lifestyle closely linked to the once abundant salmon. Now, here's the thing. They're going to want to get that salmon population back up. So this is even better. This is something that the state has not been able to do. Some of the villages date back to the 14th century. There are descriptions of some contact made with Californian Indians as far back as June 1579 by Francis Drake and the crew of the Golden Hind. Fur traders and trappers from the Hudson Bay Company came in 1827, following encounters with white settlers moving into their aboriginal lands during the gold rush in 1850. The Yurok were faced with disease and massacres that reduced their population by 75%. In 1855, following the Klamath and Salmon River War, the Lower Klamath River Indian Reservation was created by executive order. The reservation boundaries included a portion of the Yurok territory and some Yurok villages. Okay. Now, the Hoopa Yurok Resettlement Act of 1988, an act passed by the second session of the 100th Congress of 1988, declared that the Yurok descendants who have chosen to remain members of recognized tribes other than the Yurok tribe of the Yurok Reservation, primarily the Resgini Rancheria, but also the Cherry Heights Indian community of the Trinidad Rancheria and Big Lagoon Rancheria, shall no longer have any right or interest whatsoever in tribal, communal, or unallotted land, property, resources, or rights within or appertaining to the Yurok Indian Reservation or the Yurok tribe. So there's a bunch of folks that are descendants of the Yurok that ain't going to have that land. But fishing and hunting remain important to tribal members. Basket weaving and wood carving are important arts. Traditional hamlet of wooden plank buildings called Sumig was built in 1990. The jump dance and brush dance remain part of the tribal ceremonies. Okay, so they've tried to keep their tribal culture. Tribe owns and operates a casino, river jet boat tours, and other tourist attractions. The Yurok Tribe Construction Corporation has several projects that it is taking part in at the moment, including Ork Mill, Coffee Creek, Hellewood, Oregon Gulch, and Condor Aviation. In 2023, the construction company carved out new channels for Chinook salmon along the Sacramento River. They introduced vegetation into the channels to act as cover for juvenile salmon to hide in. So, see, they're working the land. They're actually doing things in a capitalistic way, if you think about it. I mean, these folks are working on making sure that the land is there for their people and for, use so that they're bringing in money for themselves. This is a productive thing. And this is why I want to start seeing some of this land start being given back, or at least in the deal like this, because they're talking about that land that was taken 120 years ago, 23-year effort and $56 million for it to become a reality. The Yurok tribe had 90% of its territory taken during the California Gold Rush in the mid-1800s, suffering massacre and disease from settlers. So, in my opinion, this is a good thing. But what do you think? Do you think that this will help? I do, but your opinion. I want you to think about this. Do you think that these folks who have already proven that they can work the land, that can do good things with it, should be getting their land back? This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now.